Namaste. Welcome back to this next installment in the series on Karaka. Uh, Please go through my previous videos, especially the very first one, where I explain the concept of Karaka and what is the significance and importance in Jyotish. I'll not repeat the same things over here. Please have a look at that. Basically, we are talking now about various planets and what they signify. And it's important to have this understanding uh, when you analyze charts. Otherwise, you really don't know what a planet is indicating. Okay. Um, Last time we covered moon. There's one thing which I forgot to mention, and as I've said, that these planets are signifying something, but there's also the bhava, which is important. But that is, moon can indicate all these things. As I've said, there are a few other things. It is also indicating food and specific foods for that matter, right? Uh, so, uh, when you see moon, what is it talking about? How do you know? Okay, so you need to also know what bhavas are indicating these things. Okay, so yes, last time if I remember, when I said Sampath, I talked about food and I talked about second house, because second house is also the dhana bhava. So when you have second house and moon in some way coming together, you know that it could be about food, it could be about sampatti, or about this entire thing about success, prosperity, fulfillment, etc. Okay, it can be also related to the 10th house. Okay, because 10th house is also about success and prosperity. Janani is mother, so when moon is related to the fourth house, right, and so then you know that we're talking of mother. It also could be mind, because the house related to mind or manas is also the fourth house. Okay, when you talk of Nirupa Prasada or royal favor, that is, I believe, more like fifth house. It could also again be 10th house, because 10th house is the kind of work you do, and fifth house is about power and influence, and a person who is in a position of, very important office, let's say an IS officer, etc. They do have a lot of influence. Okay, so I thought it would be interesting to also tell you the bhavas over here, which is something I missed last time. Now we move to the next planet, which is Mangal or Mars. And very interestingly, the first word that is being used in this particular literature is very similar to what Maharishi Parashara has given. Uh, for example, Atma is given, or Chetas or mind is mentioned in case of moon. And in Mars, it is Sattva. And the word which Maharishi Parashara uses is specifically Sattva. Sattvam is again a very vast word. It could mean a whole lot of things, right? It's just about existence, about being, right? Uh, Sattva is also guna, right? We have like Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay, and Sattva is the one which brings you balance and all that. And from that balance, what happens, and that's where these meanings are related to that. You get strength. You're able to do things. See, Rajas typically will tend to exhaust you when you are going after something, because you're wanting it, there's a desire, there's greed behind it, and all that. You may go after it, but that will exhaust you. Okay, and it's like throughout the day someone is working hard, and at the end of the day they're exhausted, because throughout the day they are going after something. Well, on the other hand, if someone does a kind of work which they really enjoy doing, uh, they somehow don't feel tired, even though they may spend hours doing that work. Let's say someone who is into some kind of research and they are really enjoying it, they can spend many hours like that, while even spending 1 hour in something, or maybe even half an hour or 10 minutes in something which they're not interested, will tire them out, right? So what you are interested in, what you are feeling very balanced about, right, it is like your being is inside that automatically. That tends to give you energy, right? That tends to give you strength and vigor. It makes you stronger, right? It's like, say, doing yoga in the morning. Okay, you are actually doing an activity, but after 1 hour you actually feel energized, because something has become balanced inside you. Okay, um, it's also about courage, because when you are quite balanced, you are courage, you feel quite confident, right? Your mind is in the right space and you're very confident in taking your decisions, and that gives you the courage to go after things, right? On the other hand, when your body is not with you, you're not feeling balanced, you're feeling too tired, or too agitated or too angry, you also feel of some kind of fear or a lack of courage. Okay, so that's how these words are related to each other. It's very important to understand that. uh, because it is Mars, we are talking about this sort of application oriented thing of the word sattva, about energy, courage, vigor, and all that, rather than very passive being, balance, and those kind of things. That I would say would be more related to Jupiter, just being balanced and all that. But when it is that energy is being used in some kind of activity which is helping you being more, so what does this do? This makes you more enterprising, right? So in that sense, I would say this relates to the third bhava, third house. And interestingly, Mars is also Karaka for the third house. Okay. The next signification is roga or disease. Uh, so see, Mars is ruler of two signs, Aries and Scorpio, right? Aries is the natural first house, right? And that you can relate to this sattvam energy and all that, as well as to the third house, while roga is related to the eighth house. Okay, it there are two ways you can look at roga. It can also be related to the sixth house, when you're talking about some kind of thing coming from outside, or agantuka. Let's say a mosquito bit you, or you got a virus and all that's coming from outside. While if you have some inbuilt diseases, which let's say congenital diseases, someone has some uh, neurological disorder or some autoimmune disorder and all that. These are from within the body, right? So that would be more eighth house. Anyhow, Mars is Karaka for sixth house, according to Maharishi Parashara, and it is the natural lord of the natural eighth house, which is Scorpio, right? So that's how it is related to both of these. Then it is about guna. Guna is about attributes and characteristics. It's also about the character of a person. What kind of gunas a person has, what values he has. And in that sense, it's related to the first house. Okay, because that first house defines your character, what kind of person you are, and that will define what attributes and characteristics you have. Anything has, I mean, it can be a person or it can be a thing. Okay, the lagna defines that its attributes and characteristics. Then Anuja, this is a very well known signification of Mars, that is younger sibling or brother specifically, and that is naturally related to the third house. Then Avani means earth, and that in this context means land and property. Mars is the indicator or karaka for significator for property. See, Mars is one of the names of Mars is Bhauma. The word Bhauma comes from Bhumi. Okay, because he's also called Dharasunu or Dharasuta, because he's the son of Earth. Mars is in our traditional literature is considered to be the son of Earth. Okay, so to that extent, he is signifying land, property, that is Earth. Okay, and this would be related to the fourth house of property, because properties are related to the fourth house. Now, notice there are some other significations which we covered in case of moon, right? Like mind and mother and all that. That is also related to fourth house, but for that the karaka is moon. So bhava may have various meanings, each of which may be covered by different planets. Okay. Um, for example, fourth house is also very close friends and all that, and later on you will see that it's related to Mercury. Okay. Um, fourth house is also in Brihad Parashara Shastra. It is mentioned. It is about scents and liquids which give fragrances. Okay, perfumes rather, and in that sense, it would be linked to Venus, right? Fourth house is in fact related to Vahan or vehicle, and that sense it's related to Venus. It's not related to Mars or Moon. So Bhava also has several um, gamut of meanings, significations, results, and that are signified by different planets. So when you see fourth house, okay, is it signifying land, or is it signifying mind or mother, or friends? What is it signifying? You see the planet related to it, whether it's Mars or Moon or Venus, or is it vehicle? Vehicle is Venus, like that. Okay, Ripu, enemy. Uh, this is quite. In fact, one of the word related to Mars is Ara, and I think it's quite similar to Ari. Ari is another word for enemy in Sanskrit. Okay. Um, Ripu or Ara, these or Shatru, these are all Shatru Karaka is Mars, and this is related to the sixth house Karakatva of Mars, because sixth house is the house related to enemy. Then you have Nyati. Uh, this is interesting because uh, I won't say I find the equivalent of this with Parashara, but it's given over here, so I'm taking it as it is. Maybe it's because of the sixth house, because Mars is the Karaka of sixth house, and relatives and kinsmen are related are about sixth house. Uh, in the next session, when we cover Mercury, we again have something related to relatives and all that, but a different word is used, and we'll try and compare, because in English both you can translate as relative, but a word called Jnati is used over here, and another different word is used in case of Mercury. What is the difference being indicated? That's why it's very interesting to really read the Sanskrit. Okay, and that gives different connotations inside your mind, because relative means a whole gamut of people we are talking about over here. Isn't there some differentiation over here? Someone who is close, someone not so close, etc. Right? I would leave it to that I think this, in case of Mars, it is relative, but maybe someone you know, because the word uses Jnati, and Jnati is related to Jna, which is Jnana, Jnata meaning something you know, right? So someone who is acquainted to you, but that necessarily doesn't mean someone whom you consider very close. Amongst relatives, also, you may have some who are quite close to you, some not so close to you. I'm not saying Mars is only indicating those who are distant relatives. It can be someone close, but it is someone whom you know, right? That is what is indicated by the word Jnat, right? So we end over here with Mars, and next time we will cover Mercury. Thank you so much.